Yeah, we get it. Welcome to What WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. My name is Jake. I just want to see if the intro video would work. But I want to do the whole intro video. I want to get to the stuff. How you do it? Hello to Pinkerbell. Hello to Snixabia. Hello, Nina Canadian. Anybody else who's joining us, delighted to have you here. Let's do an arms embargo. Look, I want to be real with you. I want to be real with you. It's not going to work. Not now, anyway. If I'm being frank about what I think the odds are of just tomorrow, the horror stopping in Israel, pretty close to goose egg. Doesn't mean it's not worth our time. Here's why: the collective pressure on our representatives will show them, number one, the will of a significant, hopefully, amount of their constituents. Number two, which of their constituents are willing to get out there. And number three, it's going to show them our persistence. It's going to show them that this is still an issue that matters to us. There are plenty of voters out there for whom no issue is one they care about a month later. That is, in fact, the main way Democrats get away with doing evil things, with bowing to Republican shenanigans. They do a thing and they say they'll forget about it in a month. So the idea here is to team up with Jewish Voices for Peace and, ask them politely to please stop sending arms to, a genocide. Dark. So here's the deal. Y'all know already. I'm kind of just assuming everyone knows, but on the off chance that somebody watching this later does not know that there's a genocide happening. There's genocide happening. That's what's occurring in Gaza and spreading. It's being done by Israel, and it's basically a fast forward version of 2003 America. A terrorist attack, which was wretched and awful, and the people who did it need to be brought to justice, was used as an excuse for an ethnic cleansing, for a resource that the right-wing government of the country that was attacked wants. It's one of the darkest things that can happen. Somebody taking advantage of a tragedy to thieve. That's what's happening. In 2003, the resource was oil. That's when we went to war. It was 2 years after 9/11. Now the resource is land. So, what can you do? Well, let me show you. Present. Share screen. Probably could have done this before. But I didn't. This is the oopsie daisy. This is the screen you will get. I'm just going to go full screen. This is the screen you'll get once you fill out the form. Maybe I can still pull that form up. No, I cannot. Okay, I will copy the link again, put it in again. This is the link you get once you fill out the form. Normally, though, this is the sheet you are asked to fill out, right, John? Yeah. You just put in your name, your address, your postal code, all the standard things, your email, your mobile phone, which is optional, Heads up, though, if you put in your mobile phone number, you're going to get texts from, lefty activists asking you to do stuff. You don't have to do that. If you accidentally put it in, you just text stop and the messages stop. Why do I like this form? Two reasons. Number one, Jewish Voices for Peace. Just head off at the pass. The frankly racist accusation, and maybe not racist, but certainly bigoted accusation that to be against a country doing a genocide means you are for some reason against the main religion of that country. Jewish Voices for Peace is a group that is of the same religion that is the main religion in Israel. Okay, now that accusation, rather, that excuse cannot be used. Good. Thing number two, they do just a tip top job of finding your representatives, the ones who need to hear about this, the ones who can vote on this. Your senators, for example. It's great. It really is. It's convenient. That is how I would like to see the internet used. I'm delighted to see it being used in that way. Again, all you got to do is put in your address. They pre write a message for you, it's already in the little field. If you want, you can edit that message and you can just use it as notes. You can say, I'm going to put this in my own words. I'm going to rephrase everything in here. That's fine. I didn't even bother. I thought it was a well written message. I believed everything that was written in it already. And so I just hit send. I might have put inappropriate joke in there, but Jake's going Jake. It's super convenient if you would like to add to the slow and steady pressure that will hopefully get us to eventually, in the United States, stop sending arms to people committing genocide. Shocking that it's necessary, but that's all you got to do. Just send that email. And by the way, you can send it 100,000 times if you want. You log in tomorrow and do it again. You log in the next day and do it again. You log in the day after that and do it again. You keep doing it until they stop sending weapons to murderers. Got a 14-page long list of dead babies that we helped create in the United States. That's on us, gang. That's on our generation. We'll be remembered for that. Which generation specifically? Nah, I think they try to divide us up arbitrarily. The ones who are alive right now, the ones who are voting right now. It's on us. This is part of our collective reputation that people in the future will be right to hang on us. Send an email. At least you can say, I spoke out. I was not silent. I tried to do my part. Even when it wasn't clear what that should be, at least I did this one thing. And you'll feel a tiny little bit better. If you want to feel a lot a bit better, send one of those every day. The link is in the description. Hey, let's see what the Wicked community has to say. Well, my man, DJX, signing up right now. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Jens Katz, glad Biden isn't up for re-election. Yeah. I think that's going to be his legacy, frankly. All the, frankly, good work he did at home, it's not going to be remembered. And nor should it be the main thing that's remembered about this guy. It's going to be the fact that I don't know how else, how to put it gently. He was an accomplice in a mass murder, and frankly, I say frankly a lot, I guess. A lot of American presidents have been, but Biden was in a time where the country should have known better. and I think was starting to know better. Cool tie, thank you, Mrs. Jen's cats. I am a big fan of fancy pink clothes. I like Diggs, by the way. 7. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Hello. Pinkerbell. We should be able to schedule an email blitz right now, as a matter of fact. Blitz. It's Friday. I don't know that this is correct. I don't know this is correct. To be clear, I have no proof whatsoever of this. It's just my thinking. I'm going to toss it your way. I'm of the belief that mass emailing campaigns are more effective if you do them over the weekend, simply so that when they show up Monday in the office, there's a ton of emails and it's a big damn deal. I could be totally wrong. If you guys know anybody that works at a congressional office and could tell me if that's the case, do let me know. The anti-corporatist. Oh, you haven't heard? Biden is apparently very, very mad at Netanyahu right now. Oh, and also the referee is distracted by someone. IYKYK. This is one of the many moments where live on air I realize I'm probably not gonna guess something. Hey, good to see you. That's a good spell. I like that for folks. I'm gonna start using that. Kamala Harris's husband held a fundraiser at his friend, the former president of AIPAC's house. Yeah. If you know, you know. I should have been able to guess that. That's a super bummer about the former president of AIPAC. Woo. But good news on that front. We're going off Kamala Harris's family. Her stepdaughter is cool as hell. So that's going to be a positive influence. Also, I don't think, frankly, that Kamala Harris gives a fuck about uh, what makes Netanyahu happy. I'm sure she has all kinds of opinions that we don't share. Maybe about how to establish peace in the Middle East, yada 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 yada. But one thing she's not going to do is take into account how not Biden, Netanyahu feels about things, and that is something both Trump and shockingly Biden seem to really care about. We have to try, says Pinkerbell. It's literally all we can do. I'll say it's the least we can do. It costs us nothing but about 30 seconds to fill out such a form. There's other things we can do. I'm not trying to be against you here. Your point is well taken. In this leading up to the election, we are in a ridiculous time. I wish America did not function this way. Other countries, take note of how stupid this is. But yeah, like we're not. If we force a politician to take a stance in this moment, they will likely take a stance we don't want them to, because they are going to weigh our opinions now against the opinions of really easily swayed idiots and count heads. And there's more easily swayed idiots than us. Oh, I see. It's going to be hard to push Kamala left. We have to try. It's literally all we can do. I see. Yeah, good points on on both there. You're right. It is going to be hard, and yeah, it is all we can do for now. Ooh, ooh. But talking with the Left Past 10 crew on episode number 52 really got me excited because it reminded me that the time I've been really hoping for is here. I hope America makes us proud. Historically, it doesn't. But I'm excited to see what we're working with because phase 2 is coming up. Phase 1, make sure a dictator doesn't take over the country. Phase 2, push as many Democrats left as we can. And the ones who we cannot push left, either put them in a different party or take all the ones who can be pushed left, put them in a new party. We need to the next phase of this is going to be setting up the circumstances in which we have an actual leftist party in the United States. I believe that a genuinely leftist party will what a leftist populist party, and I'm sure I'm misusing that phrase, but it's the vocabulary I have. A leftist party that I think by definition, if they're leftist, gives a damn about the people, is pro-worker, yada yada. They're gonna just wipe the floor with everybody, which means all those little house races that crop up, that the things that happen because somebody died of a heart attack or there was a scandal and arrest, yada yada yada. All those. That's where we run people super far to the left. Good man, DJ X. Thank you. The anti-corporatist. It puts you on a list of registered cranks, but if you're not already on there, you suck. Correct. And again, you don't have to put in your cell phone if you don't want to. I take a sick pleasure in seeing if they can woo me with a text. They never can. Okay, let me pitch something, says Pinkerbell. I know you want to keep the name Democrats, but I think there's so much baggage with that name. We would be better off dropping it. I'd be willing to debate that, Pink. I'd be willing to debate that, if only to get my own feelings on that settled. Because you make a good point, and especially after recent events, you might be right. Oh yeah? All right, I'm gonna send you a link in a little bit. Let's do the 230 thing. Get you're down. Let's do it now. 1 second. If you got a webcam, this is for Tinkerbell. Wait, no, I'm not gonna ask you to open Discord. Here you Yeah, pop on and we'll discuss it. I have some thoughts that which I'll rephrase as to why I think it might be good to keep the name, but I'd like to hear your thoughts as to why not. Doodly doo, doodly doodly doo, doodly. Oh, well, we're doing the pumpkin one. I'm muting it though. All right, 2:30 on the clock. There we go. So yeah, Pink, if you want to pop on. Okay, good. You see it. All right. Anti-corporatist. It's definitely poisoned in some parts of the country. To get to our house, we have to drive by a neighbor who has 3 yard signs, one of them for Trump and one that says I'd rather be an American than a Democrat, and another that says Democrat politicians are ruining America. Yeah, I mean, I'm already getting swayed, but as little as I care about reaching the sort of folks that have fallen for that, I can't deny, like, most of why those folks hate Democrats is because of the baggage. They don't know what Democrats even are. Pinkerbell, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi. Okay, so yeah. Okay, how are you doing this?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm gonna gonna do this like it's the debate show, even just because I want to practice the format, if that's all right. Can you give me like as much of 2 minutes and 30 seconds as you feel you need to as to why we should change the name?
Yes. Okay. Uh, you want me to start now or what?
Yeah,
Okay. So I don't have like a whole really long formatted argument or anything.
it's
I
fine.
just know how I know the people, around where I'm from. And I know even more people than that who, like, if you start talking about, policies that, like, Bernie Sanders is for, for example, but you don't say that they're from him, or you don't say that they're like Democrat things, like people will be on board. But as soon as you say the word Democrat, people like just turn their freaking brain off. It's in the same vein as like 30 years of like baggage that Hillary Clinton had, when she, was set up to run or whatever. Like there was all of that fighting, fighting that uphill battle. And
Yeah,
if we're trying to do something new and different, I just don't think we need to take on all the old baggage.
it's a good point. Um, I'll just rephrase for the sake of doing it. Basically, you're saying people in your area and all over the country, as soon as they hear the name Democrat, there's work to do. Whereas any other name means we start with a blank slate, and that's better. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So I think two things here.
Mhm.
Um, Number one, that with voters who are less likely to like our policies, not totally
Mhm.
unlikely, but less likely to like the
Mhm.
actual policies. I realize as I'm saying it, I don't believe this. I was gonna say that that's who it works with, but really, leftist policies, for that matter, are not hated by MAGA. They have so little understanding of all this stuff. Okay, let me try this again. Uh, I think with people that were formerly Republican voters, that'll
Mhm.
work. With people who are currently Democrat voters, I think it's gonna be an uphill battle when they find a different name for the party. Mostly because, they think they've seen this in the past. They think it's
Mhm.
gonna be another Jill Stein, "We're going for the presidency and nothing else." Um, and I think there's gonna be eye rolling, and I would be worried about missing the opportunity to, win a fight before we even exist.
Mhm.
Like come into existence by kicking out the people we don't like. I think we would say more about what the party is by getting rid of what it isn't supposed to be.
Okay, but then how do you build trust with people who are already poisoned against it?
I think we show them the scalps. I think we we say, "Well, all right, let me give you a list of names that we got rid of, and you tell me how much you hate them." Pelosi's gonna be gone already, but, like, Alyssa Slotkin from my state,
Mhm.
gonzo, and just, like, start rattling off anybody, Eric Adams,
Mhm.
former mayor of New York, current prisoner, I'm assuming by this point. As I say
Okay.
it, though, fuck, I don't believe it.
Yeah, it feels like it would be easier to build build that trust with something, kind of with something brand new. I just and it's not like the centrist Dems are going to go quietly.
Yes, that's true. And, well, here's the other thing that makes it, appealing to me,
Mhm.
to keep the Democratic name.
Mhm.
I said I don't believe it. I'm not sure if I believe it. That would be more accurate. I'm not sure that what I say will happen, or
Mhm.
that things will be viewed that way. I hope they will be. But what I am confident on is that the the centrist Dems, whether they keep the party name or have to go get a new one because we outnumber them,
Mhm.
they're going to team up with conservatives.
Mhm.
And if that party has to uh, build all of its when that party has to build all of its infrastructure, yeah, the timer is not of help. Uh, it's going to be this is the problem I run into with every one of these debate shows. I never know what to anyway. Uh, when they have to build their new infrastructure, where
Mhm.
the money comes from is going to be agreeable to both centrist Dems and refugee right wingers.
Mhm.
And if there's a new name associated with it, I think people are going to more quickly realize it's a new thing that they're dealing with. It's centrist Dems unleashed,
Mhm.
and it's Republicans with cover, and both those scenarios, those are the worst politicians. I just want to make it. I would like it to be clear that the people we're campaigning against are a new thing too. It's not like no. As I say that though,
Yeah.
we
Like,
don't want them to be
how do we do that? Yeah.
because then they can say, "Oh, we're new and we're reaching across the aisle." There's a
Yeah, the
group of
way or
dingbats.
whatever, you know?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna just call this. You win.
Okay.
What do we want to call the new party? And more importantly, at what point do you think we have a serious discussion about breaking? And I'll give you an example. I think if we're at the point where we have multiple left-wing caucuses within the
Mhm.
Democratic Party,
Mhm.
let's say 5 of them,
Mhm.
where there's essentially a functioning progressive caucus. We've got the squad already, and then we have, 4 other
Just
groups.
things
I think
around.
at
Yeah.
that point, that's when we say, "All right, just be a new party. Get your own fundraising, yada yada."
Mhm.
When do you think we should break? When do you feel confident in us, doing such a break?
What's the day after election day? I mean, not literally, but I mean, the sooner that we can differentiate ourselves and like build our like own power base, you know, the longer we have to actually do that and make the case for ourselves.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't
Hmm.
want them to see us coming until we've already stolen all the office equipment, frankly. Uh,
Yeah.
you don't leave your law firm without first talking to your clients and saying, "Hey, would you come with me to a new" it's not cool to do, but literally every lawyer does it, and,
Hmm.
that's kinda what I wanna do, is have that grace period right after the election where we are getting funded by people who will be our political opponents in, like, 2
Yeah.
years
Hmm.
to start a new thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's a good question before you go. Jersey Texan. Does anyone think the Republican Party will survive without Trump? What does their party look like after Trump is gone? My answer is I'll go into, but what about you? Do you think the Republican Party will survive without Trump? And what does their party look like when he's gone?
I think it will survive without Trump just because it's so institutional.
Mm,
However, it's going to look different. They already know that they are, losing support, losing power. That's why they're fighting so hard to, make sure that, the right people are the ones that are voting. They know that they can't win a popular vote. They just can't.
yeah,
And I think that unless they make, a serious turnaround, that's just going to continue to happen. Like the base from which they can draw from is increasingly smaller and smaller. Um, I don't, and it almost just it feels like a staring contest. Like who's going to blink first? Because if if I don't think we can really manage a split until the other party's ready to split too. Does that make sense? And be successful.
oh yeah, yeah. And to that point, I happen to
Hmm.
think no, it won't survive without Trump. And what their
Hmm.
party looks like after Trump is gone is
Broke.
50% yeah, well, yeah, 50% people who are still trying to do, like, the most wretched, public stunts where they say evil things and are like, "Oh, Haitians eat pets," and just
Mhm.
the most the
So the
kind of
chemically
stuff that gets
racist
put in
party.
history books as, like, "Here's
Mm,
what was wrong with America." That's
yeah.
half of them. The other half is gonna be people pretending like they weren't going along with that and not be and either faction, I feel, is not gonna be able to sell that. I think Trump was a central figure, that they were able to rally around, but they needed to be forced, and, they're not gonna DeSantis won't do that. DeSantis isn't gonna
No.
have people clamoring to
Mhm.
support him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I mean, it's been nearly a decade, and a
Mhm.
lot of the state parties are broke. You've seen that, with the Michigan Republican Party.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Gina
And
Carano, went
mhm,
bananas, basically.
yeah.
What do I say? She started bananas. They put somebody who is like, I shouldn't be cavalier about, mental health. She genuinely has, now I feel dirty, but she genuinely has, I personally think, mental health problems, as in, like, she
Mhm,
doesn't know how people are going to react to things she says. I truly think that's the case. Separately from that, she's a bad human being. Like, she's an immoral person. But that's
mhm.
the if Michigan is the rest of the country, but with looking 2 years into the future, I think that's what we're about to be dealing with now. Yeah.
Okay. Mhm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's been nearly a decade of Trump, and he's poisoned a lot of, he's poisoned a lot of things for the party, and they're all tripping over their dicks trying to, be like him, and it's not working.
Yeah. It's the saddest thing to see, too.
Yeah.
Tinkerbell, thank you for joining.
Yep. Thanks.
If y'all are keeping score at home, I'll see you still here, I guess. If y'all are keeping score at home, as stated, that's Tinkerbell 1, your old pal Jake. Goose egg. I'm trying to find something else we disagree on so I can get back a little dignity here on my own show. Dang it. Yeah, that is a fascinating topic of conversation, and I think the one to prepare for. Um, I don't like this era. I don't find this era as fun as I was imagining it when this channel started, mostly because Gaza's involved. Uh, that's a real bummer. But what I don't like is that there's one thing to do. There's one thing to do. Vote. If you can vote early, vote now. In case you get hit by a bus and your fingers don't work on election day. Get your friends to vote. Vote, 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 vote. And then we get to the genuinely fun stuff. We're gonna have hopefully, hopefully a win for Harris. Then we're gonna have dealing with Trump trying to steal the election again because we didn't deal with it last time. But then building a new party, and that part, that's gonna be great. But in order to get to the build new, we got to get rid of the old, and the old includes the Republican Party. It's got to go. It has demonstrated now thoroughly that it's a who described. I think Matt. I don't know who. I'm sorry, but someone described it as a crime syndicate. That is what it is. It's essentially just a group of uh, criminals. And let me be clear: not the voters. The voters are part of the victims of this. They're frustrating victims. Doesn't change the fact that they are victims here. No, it's the people who get up in front of a microphone, swear an oath that they're going to tell the truth, and then lie. They do so in Congress all the time, and it just can't. It's not sustainable. To Pink's point earlier, um, it's been 10 years of this. 10 years of Trump style republicanism. That's just the Republican Party on fast forward. That's all it is. And 10 years of it shows you they can't run anything, including a party. They are out of money. The only people that give them money are their own oligarchs. They there's an increasingly small share of people that are voting for them because there is an increasingly large genre of Americans that they are trying to attack, including now everyone who can have a baby. Every single person who can have a baby had a fundamental right taken away. Eventually, without a hat that gets that lets you say I hate brown people, without actually it being socially acceptable to catch a beating for that, the libertarians are going to have a hell of a time standing by a lot of the far right stuff happening right now. Kudos at least to libertarians for this. I don't agree with their principles, but they have them. I don't agree with how they want to run the government, but they do have like thoughts about that. That ain't nothing in this era. They, I don't think, are going to be all that cool with bodily autonomy being taken away. I also think we can make a strong pitch to them for like not arming the police. Sure, they love arming the citizens, but having the man have tanks and it's not very libertarian. We can win, is my point. We can win these arguments, but first we got to win big at the polls in November, at the ballot box. Reagan is a great historical example of what happens to a party when they get trounced. Democrats got their butts whipped by Reagan and became neoliberals. They became what we hate today because of the beating they got from Reagan. We need to do that in reverse. And fortunately, Joe Biden is not going to be the Reagan. Thank God. In fact, because of Joe Biden dropping out, we won't have an actual Reagan. So what we need to do is make the party so successful, I know, swallow your bile, Democratic Party so successful this time that the Republican Party simply can't exist. If these big businesses who are not giving money based on principles whatsoever, if these big businesses don't see a realistic payoff for their dollars, the dollars go away. The oligarchs are not going to do a long shot bet with a huge amount of money. They're just not. If they look at the board and they say, "Look, buddy, you say that you will vote for me sexually violating the land for oil. That's great, but how many of you are there? There's just you and 10 others that say they're going to do that. Well, that vote's never going to go through. So why am I spending? You want $10 million. He wants $10 million. There's 10 of you. That's $100 million for a vote that won't pass. I just don't. The math doesn't math here. So you're not getting even $1. That is what needs to happen. If we trounce them now, if we have a blue wave now, and it's a long shot, baby, but let's go for it. If we can get the House, the Senate, and the White House, that means in 2 years the donations drop, and we keep it going. We just keep it going until the Democrats, I think, are going to help us make a new party. Why? Because they got to run against somebody, and they don't want to be us. They'd rather be Republicans. So I think they're going to be doing the same dirty business we're going to be doing, which is doing our best to pick our opponents. Which also means we should not trust them when they recommend people to lead our movement. They're going to try to help. They're going to appear to help. Don't trust them. The only way Trump can contest anything is if the election is a tie. Then he can present that argument to SCOTUS. Then it goes back to the states. Yeah, specifically, it goes back to the Republican-led House of Representatives. If it goes to SCOTUS, yeah, and not only if it's a tie, it goes to the SCOTUS if there's legal objection to the results, which he will try to make happen. That's why I keep telling y'all, throw a party on election night. I know it sounds silly. I'm serious. Celebrate if Kamala wins. Because the overall tone of the country is going to be noted by the entirety of the country and the world. If people are out celebrating in the streets when it's announced that Kamala wins, it's going to be a lot harder to say that the election was stolen. Oh, where did all these votes come from? Well, you assume the people celebrating in the streets. You assume the impromptu parades. We need SCOTUS to look at that and think, if we don't make the right decision here, we won't continue to exist because the Supreme Court can never be taken seriously. Yeah, Bush 2000. It's happened before. That's exactly correct, Jersey Texan. The anti-corporatists, they're still going to run to the right in the general. Yeah. Yeah, they are. If you're talking Democrats, they will always. The center will consolidate. Yeah, it will. And I didn't express this very well, but the center will consolidate and then go right because that's where the money is. And if you're in the center, you're in the center because you take money from villains. It's basically it. Oh, God. Anti-corporatist. I actually was reading the extract on the Electoral Count Update Act earlier. And yeah, SCOTUS can still up. Yes, they can. Okay. However, as that guy on TYT points out, the real center is the people that agree with us. Oh. The center in America is center right. Yeah, and the reason for that is money. If what they tend to do is pay lip service. If like you're talking a centrist Democrat, what they do is pay lip service to left-wing ideas and then cast right-wing votes. One thing on this channel I've been experimenting with, and I hope you will help me continue to do, is to pay lip service to right-wing ideals during arguments for left-wing policies. And that is possible to do because the right wing in the United States has gotten so ludicrous that they just don't help anybody. And you it doesn't matter what your morals are. If you have any at all, they'll tell you to vote for the lefty. I think the letter hack has this here. We just need a pro-labor party. Hey, buddy. And yes, I think you're correct. We need a pro-labor party. I think, in fact, that should be the guiding light of the new party that is formed. I hope we all, whatever crews you're in, if you have influence on this. By the way, great time to join any political organization. The way in which the party gets its money will dictate how the party behaves. If we are a pro-labor party, it'll just be inherent. We cannot take bribes from big companies in order to screw over their workers, and so we must Be decent. And I think that will have a cascading effect where it ends up affecting everything else we do. The Democrats, once upon a time, were the pro labor party. Then Reagan happened, which led to Clinton, which led to neoliberalism, which led to the Dark Ages. We got to take that back. There needs to be a pro labor party. There needs to be somebody who is constantly meeting with union leaders and protesters and strikers, I guess is the correct term there. So on and so forth. Letterhack getting 2 yeses from Jersey Texan and Pinkerbell for that. And your old pal Jake as well. The anti-corporatist, it does take 20% of the Senate and 20% of the House, which I believe is 87 representatives, to put an objection through. They have to do it in writing, though. The Letterhack, the billionaire dam is going to break. It surely is. Yeah. I also think we should, I was going to say, talk about imprisoning these people more as like a political tool. I retract that. I think we should talk about imprisoning these people more as a matter of decency, but it should be unrelated to politics. I think a lot of the folks that became billionaires did so by literally getting people killed. Johnson & Johnson knew it was giving people cancer with baby powder for a very long time, and they continued to do it. That deserves prison regardless of politics. However, the political answer for literally getting rid of a lot of these billionaires is to simply take their industries. Amazon, I would be fine with the US government taking. Jeff Bezos, here is a check for $500 million, more money than anyone needs in a whole lifetime. If that's a pittance to you, then you already have enough money that it doesn't matter. But regardless, this is a service that we see all Americans using. So the US government is going to run it now. Nationalize if you get too big. The answer to monopolies for a long time has been that the US government steps in, breaks up the company, and creates, instead of one super rich person, 4 to 5 super rich people. No, I think we change that. I think we alter the law to say if you are deemed to be a monopoly, the US government just takes the business. You get a congratulations, you won capitalism check, and congratulations, you get to be rich. But the people get your company. If you're so wealthy and so powerful that you have a monopoly, I think that is the answer. Imagine this: AT&T got split up like that in the 90s, I think it was. Microsoft was close to getting split up like that. Imagine if the U.S. government made cell towers and maintained cell towers and had a generic phone, rather a generic phone network that any phone could be plugged into. How much better would that thing run? If you take out the capitalist waste, great. Also be cheaper. It would also include jobs, regardless of whether or not it was profitable. Pro-worker messaging, says Pinkerbell, is solid and will pull people from all over the spectrum. Yeah, and it's also something people from all over the spectrum can understand. I frequently talk about like my disappointment that defund the police didn't work. And I try to understand why it didn't work. And I think the reason it didn't work is because it wasn't understood. Because even if you go to police and you say, I would like to fund social workers doing a lot of your job so you don't have to go to a call where somebody's having a mental breakdown, but they're not dangerous. I think you could get the police officer on board with that. I'm not trying to dunk on the defund the police folks. I was them. I just don't know why it didn't work, and I think it's because messaging. And when you have pro-worker messaging, like the messaging was designed for lefties, basically. It was a lefty rallying cry, and it worked for lefties. Nobody else even understands what they're talking about with that. Pro-worker messaging, though, everybody understands that because everybody who has a soul is a worker or was one at one point. Their bosses can go themselves. Uh, I don't really care if the messaging resonates with a multi-millionaire or above. Donald James X, I'm fine with robots just as long as we can all use the robots and not just the rich. Yeah, I'm 100% there with you. 100%. And by the way, I've been talking about government funded internet and government funded servers. Keep your eyes peeled, folks, because the capitalists appear to be trying real hard to take our access to these things away. It uses a lot of processing power, which it turns into literal actual power. We can decide good and early. The way this works is that if you use general data, if you pull any of your AI training model from public sources, then it must be a publicly available service. We could just decide that right now with the law, and I think we should. And yes, I'm also fine with the robots. I would love to replace every American worker with a robot who does the same job pretty much just as well. I would love that. And then we all drink daiquiris on the beach. What I don't want us to work for no reason. The Republicans are pro forced labor party. Yes, they are. They literally are. Oh, I'm so far behind. Messaging, is it? Yes. Messaging is annoying that it's important, but it is. Because fucking people were in the streets. And yet nobody understood, like, nobody understood why or what they were asking for. And then the death of a movement happened. A couple of months passed. That's all it takes in America. A couple of months not having the attention, and whatever you're trying to do is done. It's pathetic that we are this way, but we are this way. Defund the CEOs. Yes, sir. All right, going back up to Richard Hinckley. So, what's the hate for bosses? What constitutes a boss? Like someone tells you what to do at work, because those are managerial workers to me. My problem is non-working owners, not bosses. Yeah, messaging again, because I'm right there with you. I think the guy, if you go into the building and type into a computer, you're working. If the CEO of a company shows up and puts in 8 hours a day, I'm not even going to say 5 days a week, 8 hours a day for 4 days a week. That's enough for me. You're working. Tinkerbell phrasing it better than me. Boss meaning owner. Yeah. And you're right, Richard Hinckley. You're right. Because I don't like if you own a painting company, you're working your balls off. If you are a HUD contractor and you own the company, if you do software analysis and you've got a team of 30 people under you that also does software analysis, yeah, you're working. I'm talking about, as Pink said, the people who don't have to show up, who, if they do nothing, everything functions exactly the same. And frankly, not even all of them. When it comes to how they vote, yeah, I don't give a fuck about them. But sorry for cursing. But the people I'm actually angry with, it's the super rich. It's the people who have done nothing but that stuff for a whole career. But we were talking earlier about whose vote I'm trying to get. Yeah, I'm not trying to get the no-show CEO's vote. They can. I don't hate them necessarily. I hate a lot of them, but I don't necessarily hate them. I'm just not trying to get their vote. David Martin Graff, good to see you. We're a nation with global responsibilities. Good to see you too, Richard Hink. We're a nation with global responsibilities, brilliantly put. We're not somewhere else in the world protecting someone else's interest where they're protecting, we're there protecting our own. True. True. Yet, there is an eternal question over the methods we use to protect our interests. America almost always gets it wrong. Richard Hinckley. Yeah, okay, the owning class and excluding small business owners who tend to work really hard for a business that might fail, then I'm with it. Yeah. My first pass at anything is often problematic. The letter hack, I think bosses is a dirty word for the CEO's henchmen. Fair point. They enforce the CEO's goal of keeping an eye on the bottom line at labor's expenses. Management is a good thing unless it's excessive waste. Yeah. Mrs. Jen's cats. My last job, I was telling my bosses how to be better bosses. Good. If they were good bosses, then they listened to you. They might not have agreed with you, but that's valuable information. They aren't regulated, and they are little tyrants who exploit their workers. Yeah. And in a system where workers have more rights, those people have less power because your healthcare needn't depend. Let me be more clear. Whether or not your child gets to the hospital in time to have their appendix removed before it kills them shouldn't depend on whether or not your petty little tyrant of a middle manager decides they're going to write you up for the third time. But that's the system we live in now. Your child's life is in the hands of some douche named Terry who got off on the wrong foot with you. Doesn't like that sometimes you clock in 2 minutes late and meticulously tracks it till they can fire you. In a system where we have universal health care, your child's life no longer depends on you rizzing up Terry. You can say, go yourself, Terry. I don't know why I'm going so hard on Terry. It's a fine name. This is a hypothetical person. The anti-corporatist, we passed by the pizza place that closed recently because the owner worked his ass off until he was 70 plus years old, came down with pancreatic cancer, and never got to enjoy his gains. Assuming they did not listen to her. Did y'all hear about the plastic plant that made their employees come in despite the hurricane? Yep. And employees died. And they did that to please the scumbag owner because their lives depended on it. That's the system we made. Pinkerbell, when humans have the choice, we choose art and creativity. That is the human condition and what we should strive to support, not this busy work bullshit. Yeah, truly. I would like to see a gold rush on robots. I would like to see us get rid of all the jobs we possibly can. Robots for farming, robots for cooking the food, robots for building the houses and producing the energy and maintaining all the machinery and making the machinery and then enjoy. Go live your life. You want to do something? Cool, do something. Does it make money? Good for you. You can afford tons of luxury stuff. You don't need to worry about food or housing or energy because that is free. You want to not make money? It's also fine. You don't need to worry about food or housing or energy because it's free. Because we're decent people and we're not here simply to suffer. We're certainly not here to get badmouthed by Terry. Fuck you, Terry. Coming at me every day. All right. Robots for working the grocery stores during hurricanes. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, also very American. If you still want to shop during a hurricane, I respect your chutzpah, but no one should have to die for that. It's done. Like, so many people spend their last moments making someone else rich for a machine that will have them replaced tomorrow. Beautifully put, Tinkerbell. The anti-corporatists, they already have a bunch of that stuff. The John Deere tractors more or less drive themselves, but then you have to pay John Deere fees left, right, and center. Here's the deal. I'm fine with such a thing existing. I'm not fine with the fact that we don't make a government version of it. If capitalism genuinely drives innovation, let them prove it. Make something better. But we, the people, we should be investing in the generic version of everything, starting with medicine. But yes, everything Monsanto makes, the US government should as well, including the seeds. Monsanto makes a great deal of the seeds farmers use, and they genetically designed those little pricks, sorry for the language, to only last for one season. Just one season. So you have to buy again. As in, the plants they make don't themselves have the ability to reproduce. US government could just make a plant that does and sell that to farmers. And if Monsanto makes a better plant, okay, good for you. Then the fancy farmers buy the Monsanto version. But regular folks are not playing the silly ass game where we try to make a billionaire into the first ever trillionaire. Oh, let's see. Yes. Jersey Texan to the robots for the hurricane, working the grocery store during the hurricanes. Comment says 100%. I learned my lesson the last time of not working the correct angle. It was at a very difficult and hard environment with a hard lesson learned, very out of my normal environment. I missed the correct context. David Martin Graff, go to London. You'll be hard pressed to find 1980s real estate. Thatcherism wouldn't allow only the ultra rich or parliament. That's why US attracted the best Europeans to inhabit America in the 80s. Huh. That's fascinating. But that's communism. Yeah, I'll do some communism for sure. Our government should be competing. I agree. And I'm fine with giving an unfair advantage to the capitalists. I'm fine with saying that all workers involved in a government job get a government minimum wage, which is just higher, a federal minimum wage, a federal employee minimum wage, just higher. So if you're from a state that wants to compete, that state has a lower minimum wage. Okay, that's how you can be competitive. And that state then, in theory, gets a new business in it. Oh, neat. Because the government version is not designed to be for profit. It's designed to be just the most effective version. Fun fact, Irwin is also where an elephant was hung. Jesus. R.I.P. Mary. Tinkerbell, like they just gave people these seeds for free, they'd have to have a sign in front of the field advertising Monsanto. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not crazy to be critical of Monsanto's work here. The traditional way you buy seeds produces a plant which then makes seeds. You're really only supposed to buy it the one time. These See You Next Tuesdays went out of their way to make a plant which does not make more seeds. If you're thinking, well, that's not great for business, that plant being all natural and what have you, I don't care. There's You sell seeds, you expect a plant that is able to make those seeds, is all I'm saying. Votron, I am Votron the Victorious. Groove Dragon sent me to make sure your puny planet is saved by voting for Kamala Harris. The Orange Monster wins or steals the election. We will invade your puny planet to save the animals. Noted. I hope we are included in the animals. Oh, I am Votron the Victorious. Here are my demands. Okay. Damn it. All right. I'm just instead going to go to the next section because now half the show has been comments. Good comments, but they're not going to stop being good comments. I want to talk about another thing. What was the other thing? Oh, God. It was none of this. It certainly wasn't. Oh, yeah. California. California knows how to party. We keep it rocking. In the city. All right. Here we go. Saw the Majority Report earlier today, and Francesca Fiorentini brought up an interesting race that's happening. I thought maybe we could put our peepers on that and talk about it with mouth words and such. Here it is. Nope. Here it is.
It's my
Can I just make a quick plug for if you guys are in CA 34, we're trying to get Jimmy Gomez out. Speaking of bad Democrats who take hand over fist money from DMFI and other APAC associated groups. So text your friends and family. Ballots were just mailed out this.
Speaking of people who will not be in the new party, Jimmy Gomez.
Week, early voting is underway in California. David Kim over Jimmy Gomez. Jimmy Gomez ain't no progressive. He falsely claimed Bernie supported him and backed him. He didn't. David Kim is awesome. He is a child lawyer, a family attorney, and he is a Korean American. He's progressive. He's just awesome. And this is his third time running against Jimmy Gomez, and we are within striking distance. So I've been volunteering, and I urge everyone to vote David Kim and get involved if you want.
Vote David Kim in California. That's
Vote David Kim. Boy genius. All right, sure. Look, if you're getting if the pitch is for California's 34th, did you say? Yeah. To go for a child lawyer, no, an attorney who seems to be honest versus somebody that said Bernie supported them when he didn't. That's an obvious choice. Because one has established himself to be a liar, and the other is a literal professional truth teller. California's 34th. You got an opportunity here. If you're in California or know someone in California, just tell them about it. It's as simple as saying, hey, I got reasons. I can tell them to you if you want. Maybe you're not interested, but I suggest you vote for David Kim over Jimmy Gomez. As simple as that. That's the whole segment. Letter hack. Like 4 years back, before Tim had that compound, I'm out of sync. Donald James, 34th isn't my district. That's more south. Let me know how it goes, man. Let me know how it goes. A child lawyer, Doogie Howser's lesser-known brother. Yeah, my mind went to the same place. California has an open primary where the two highest vote getters, frequently both Democrats, move on to the general election. Having that incumbent next to your name is huge there. Yeah. Where in California is that? It's apparently California's 34th district. Let's look her up. Where is CA 34? Where is California's 34th district? Oh my word. Los Angeles? It's in Los Angeles, for fuck's sake? And we can't get a progressive? Okay. LA. Okay. This should be the easiest thing on earth. David Kim. David Kim, David Kim, David Kim. Let's make that happen. I will take freaking any advice y'all have for how we can reach people in LA. I'm sorry, it's going to be real hard for me not to rip into not Californians in general, but specifically people from LA. But I gotta, because we gotta convince them to vote for David Kim. I'll take pitches. Oy vey. Thank you. This is more the way I prefer. If you're from Jersey, you have people all over the state. You gotta have a guy. That's fair. Yeah, Jake, rich people live there. Oh, that's fine. Rich people do live in Allah. I hate it. I hate it so much. I just don't get along with people from LA. I don't even dislike them. I just don't get along with them. Ever. I don't know why. Our vibes are exact opposite. We're oil and a firecracker. I don't know. Votron, by the way, your human attire is most becoming what you can do. I'm sure human women will be attracted to your pink tie. Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, it's working. It's working. I look, I got it to get the robots off. You know, robots and aliens, generally what I'm trying to get to jizz. Jersey Texan. My first trip. Sorry, I said the word jizz twice. My first trip, I just couldn't BM ones. I don't follow. And when I've utterly, well, as if San Francisco is left. Yeah, it's weird times, man. Weird times. Now that I've there we go. Jersey Texan. My first trip, I couldn't vibe. I looked over at my partner and said, I think I'm too New Jersey. Yeah. I get the same thing. I once spent, it's a long story and not an entertaining one, but I once spent like a long weekend in a hotel with a couple of people from the area. And we didn't even hate each other. It wasn't even that. It was just each of us would do something that was a minor annoyance to the other, unintentionally. Maybe sometimes intentionally. But for the most part, unintentionally. And that was just the whole weekend. It was one of those events, followed by another, followed by another. And if we would have had pistols on hand, just out of courtesy, we would have drawn straws. Oh, just unbutton the top shirt, but still keep the tie on. I like that. Look, you guys have now seen it. If I were to fully remove my shirt, you would think I put on a sweater. I'm a hairy gentleman. Nobody really wants that. He does get a lot of compliments on the pink tie, says Baker Bell, probably because pink is the superior color. Noted. We have noticed the too New Jersey aspect of your earthling population. All intergalactic travelers are forewarned. I like Votron. I miss Groove Dragon, but I'm a fan of Votron, I got to admit. Gang, it's cool hanging out with you today. There is a couple of things to address in the description. Actually, also just about the show. So thing number one, I don't know if I'm right or not, but I want to try. I think that we can convince a significant percentage of right-wing leaning people to either not vote or vote for Harris. I think that trying to do so will be good practice, basically practicing on hard mode for convincing people that consider themselves centrists to vote for a burgeoning new leftist party. I think we collectively, the Wicked community, make each other better people, first and foremost. You certainly make me a better man than I am naturally. And I appreciate that, and I think we should spread that around some. I think there's a whole lot of people on the internet who could stand to be better people. So, I wanna keep up the speed dating thing, certainly during, the nights. I might even do one tonight. My point being, you'll see this awkward show come into being, and I might hand it off to somebody, truly. But for the near future, it's here, random times, late at night. I'm gonna keep polishing that concept until I don't care necessarily between us chickens about winning or losing, because I think the facts are just on our side. And eventually, as long as we get people speaking honestly and having an honest assessment of the situation, I think inevitably they're going to wind up on our side. And if that's not the case, I'd be interested to find out why that is. I think we're going to have success with that, and I think it is a valuable endeavor. I also think that as many seats as we can peel off for the Democrats this time around, as many upset victories as we can earn, that's going to be good, and we should aim for that. So Jake is part of the Bear Club, Bear Force One. Yes, that's I do quite enjoy that. Wait, tell us about this lingerie. Did I already start saying lingerie? I suppose she is Pinkerbell is a well-known psychic. The other thing is shameless capitalism hooring. If you're going to purchase StreamYard anyway, which is the system I use, click on the link that gives me a little chunk of the money. If, however, you would like to buy lingerie, what like for sex purposes, consider purchasing it from Imogen Olivia. It's a store that is coming soon, and it's designed for the bodies of everybody. You don't have to be trans femme. You can just be a regular lady. They're designing clothes. All right, sorry. Trans femme is also a regular lady. But you know what I mean. You could be anybody. You don't have to be trans femme. And you get clothes that are designed to fit you, whether you're a cover girl model or fucking a bus driver. I don't know. The point is, what I like about this company, it's made by a lefty, and it's clothes for everybody. It's actual clothes designed to fit everybody. That's really cool. Now, how much are they paying me to tell you about this? Not a thing. I do want to continue. We've done it here in the past. There was a food truck serving workers that were striking that we promoted for free. I'm going to keep that up, gang, because I think it's fun to show decent companies. And Imogen Olivia, if I'm frank with you, has touched my heartstrings in particular because I love lefties and I really love fashion. And a lefty fashion company is something I just want to see exist in the world. I think that's neat as hell. So if you wanted to buy what like sex garments, well, there you go. I'm going to close it. Oh, Looney Tunes 9000 coming over from Sandy's show. Holy oh my God, the calendar's flying. Yes, well, hello, my friend. I'm gonna really disappoint you because it's the end of this show. I'm gonna close it down with Votron. Hear me now. Obey me later, puny earthlings. You must vote for Kamala Harris. My AI informs me the fate of your tiny blue planet is in your hands. Stop global climatic catastrophe. Now. Noted, Votron. Jersey Texan, I'm a bus driver and a cover girl. Yes. Awesome. Looney Tunes 9000. I came too late. I rarely have that problem. My name is Jake. This show is WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. And this right here is my good friend, Donald James X. And this right here is my good friend, Donald James X.